What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So I want to talk about three people in this video. Okay. First person I'm going to talk about is Tyson Fury. Now, I did a video about him and him being cut, the fight postponed. Let me make some things known to you guys, because there's things that people overlook all of the time. And sometimes people forget things, okay, that they already know until they hear it again. Now, I said, giving Tyson Fury the benefit of a doubt of really being cut, okay, it could have happened. But I'm not so keen on saying, oh, he definitely got cut sparring. I don't know that. I don't know if he did or didn't, honestly. Liars are liars. If a person want you to believe something, well, they'll tell you whatever it is that they want you to believe. And here's a situation where, does he have to, try to prove anything to the public? Really? No. Let's say he really was cut in sparring. Okay? Accidentally. People they're not quick to believe someone who's always surrounded by controversy and drama. Fighters, okay, let me, get this out. There's been many times in boxing, past and present, and will be in the future as well, where fighters are not so sure that they can beat the opponent. They will stall them out. Okay, they will stall them out. Hopefully, that opponent overtrains, throw them off. They always have someone, going back, slipping back and forth, trying to, get information to find out what's going on in camp. Now, they'll do these things to get advantages. Okay, like I said, your opponent can badly overtrain. Your opponent can be in a position of, they get aggravated, frustrated because the fight is postponed, and man, I put all this work in it. Let me tell you something. A lot of times fighters are not where they need to be. They don't feel as confident or as comfortable as their words. So these things do happen. Okay. So like when you heard me say, WWE guys, razor blades, okay? Some people just got the scar tissue. If you remember the Sandman, he could sit there and do this on his forehead and he'd start bleeding. Okay? Just saying. With boxers, scar tissue can happen when you get cut a certain amount of times, and it gets to the point, same thing. You just start getting tapped in that spot. Guess what? Bleeding. Now, I don't know that that's the case. But what I'm saying is, people who are trying to defend Fury, that's your business. But you have to understand why. Okay, I give you an example. If someone raped a person 25 years ago, even though it was 25 years ago, I'll guarantee you wouldn't feel comfortable with that person around your kid or your wife or any other woman that you have any type of love for. And that person could be a completely different person, learned their lesson, feel horrible about what they did, completely turned their life around. But just for you to know that they raped one person, don't have to be 2, 3, 4 more. One person will make you go, he raped someone. He could be a whole different person now. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't want to take that chance, now would you? Fury is always surrounded by some type of controversy and some type of drama. And what happens a lot of times is your BS comes back and bites you right in the ass. So when you have a guy just think about something, okay? Speaking for myself, if you listen to the things I say about Fury, if you listen to the skepticism and why I have this skepticism, I point out everything about him, okay? If Aries was a preacher, Aries would be that preacher that goes strictly by Bible and not my opinion. Now, of course, my opinion is given when I do boxing, when I analyze these situations with these videos as well, but it's based off of what happens. So like when you hear me say, for example, I don't know that the guy was cut or not. We don't even know. Can we say when that picture was taken? We don't know. I've seen people post pictures of Deontay Wilder saying Champ is in top shape, he's in phenomenal shape, when this dude had dreads and the picture of the motherfucker got a low haircut. I'm like, that's not a recent picture. So just saying, he could have really legitimately been cut. Right? That's why I said to give him the benefit of a doubt, and let's say he really was. Well, remember that comment Teddy Atlas made about Anthony Joshua when he said AJ and Hearn are glad that Wilder lost? Well, he was so quick to say that, and these guys signed the contract. And he did nothing but make excuses for Wilder. Notice how Teddy Atlas didn't have anything to say when Zhilei Zhang signed the contract, but Wilder didn't. Zhang is someone Anthony Joshua fought and beat in the amateurs. Okay, so bottom line, every time you hear someone make a comment and you realize it's just one-sided, because now if Anthony Joshua, okay, would have been offered Zhang signed and AJ didn't, you better believe Teddy Atlas would have been saying this. Obviously, if he doesn't sign the contract, he doesn't feel comfortable fighting Zhang. Even though he beat him in the amateurs, he know that this is a different Zhang now, and Zhang already signed. So what's the holdup? You know, it's AJ's getting cold feet. You better believe he'd have said something to that effect. Okay, but again, Wilder's the one they give a pass to him because they basically fell into the politically correct thing to say, which is the right hand is the great equalizer. Who always used that term? Teddy Atlas. So now when you tell us how the great equalizer can basically match up to any amount of skill that any opponent can have for Wilder, because that right hand is that devastating, right? Then people say, no, I don't believe you, Teddy. I don't think his right hand is what everybody says. I believe it's the level of competition that he's fighting. He's been able to get away with it with those guys. Yeah, he managed to drop Fury, but Fury got back up. Okay, just saying. Okay, Ernie Shavers wasn't the boxer that Larry Holmes was. In fact, you know, Ernie Shavers got Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali wasn't the same. But Ali still won. Great fight, though. Okay, he got a young, fresh Larry Holmes. He managed to knock Larry Holmes down. And what do they call Ernie Shavers? Which I'm not quick to see when people talk about who's the hardest puncher ever and all that. My thing is this. You look at a person's record. We get it. We see all of that. But it's all about punch placement. So every punch you throw is not going to be is going to be so much harder than everybody else's. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's guys who have been considered not as hard of a punch as another guy has landed a punch harder on an opponent and knocked them out than the guy that they say hit harder than they do. So, bottom line is, Teddy Atlas made up in his mind that, you know, yeah, the great equalizer, and I don't want to be wrong when I say these things, but yeah, I will admit I'm wrong sometime. But when I'm very strongly opinionated on something and I'm telling the people what to look for and what to expect, and then it doesn't go nearly as close as to the way I say, now I'm embarrassed. So I have to make an excuse as to why it happened and what the guy should have been doing, and what I thought he was going to do was blah, blah, blah. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being wrong with the prediction. When you're headstrong, though, your ego gets involved. Example, Anthony Joshua looked stunning in his last fight. Well, people love to say, well, you're only as good as your last fight. Well, if we go off Anthony Joshua's last fight and we go off Wilder's last fight, why the fuck would you think that Anthony Joshua would lose to Deontay Wilder? Now, when you make the hypocritical comment and say, yeah, but Otto Wallin's not Wilder. Yeah, Otto Wallin is not Parker either. And Parker was considered washed up and written off, right? And guess what? AJ beat Parker too. Okay, at his best. This Parker is not the same Parker that AJ beat. The AJ that beat Parker beat a better version of Joseph Parker. So, when you make that comment and say, yeah, but it's different. Okay, wait, but what happened to the great equalizer? Well, something was wrong with Wilder. Wilder wasn't this. Do you see the point when I'm telling you how people like to pick and choose what pertains to one person but not the other? So now when you talk the styles make fights, when you make that argument, okay, but you said there's no style out there that great equalizer can't combat. And he couldn't even compete with Joseph Parker. Now, the excuses that never came out of your mouth before the fight starts to come out after the fight. Okay? Like, for example, right? And I make these comparisons, people, because I want people to really understand. Okay? I time travel in these videos because I want people to look at the facts and the reality of what was and what is. When Oscar De La Hoya fought Pernell Whitaker was like 33 years old. Oscar was 23, 24. You know what nobody said? Oh, Pernell chose Oscar because he was too young. Oscar was only 23. Right? They never said that. Why did they say Canelo was too young? He was 23 when he fought a 36-year-old Floyd Mayweather, right? They didn't say Floyd was too old. So Pernell was 3 years younger than Floyd was. But point is, Oscar was only 23. Now, when you watch that fight, that's a fight a lot of people say when you watch it back, you think that you really change your mind. I thought Oscar won at first, but when I watch it, I realized I was caught up into the fact that the fans was cheering and screaming at everything Oscar was doing. Yeah, I realized that the first time I watched it. Okay? Everything Oscar did, the fans went crazy. I seen him miss a whole lot of punches. They both missed, they both landed. Okay. I cannot expect the fighter to do more than what they actually can do. But if you pay attention to the point is not, I don't want to dig into the fight itself, okay? To break down the fight. What I'm saying is people make excuses for certain guys. Nobody said Wilfredo Benitez was too young when he won the title at 17 years old. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when these guys are fighting guys already in their mid-30s or close to it, or past 35 or whatever, why these other guys don't get the whole, oh, this guy was old, or this guy was too young? So now we have to label Floyd as that fighter that fought you when you was either too young or too old. We got to label Anthony Joshua as a scary fighter with no confidence. Wait a minute. Anthony Joshua was fighting without the confidence, and you could see it. Aries was I definitely was one of the first ones that I didn't get the idea from nobody. I know what my two eyes saw. So I can say, yeah, I was one of the first ones making a video stating that. Anthony Joshua showed that in his fights. We know the guy could fight. He always could fight. But wait, Deontay Wilder, him and his own followers, his own sheep said he need to get his confidence back. He need to get his killer instinct back. He's a happy fighter. He don't have that killer instinct. Okay, so if you don't have the killer instinct, that means you don't have the confidence. But they're trying to make it for Wilder like, oh, it's just something that happened. But with AJ, it's like he's a disappointment. He's a disgrace. Why? Why? He's human, right? But he comes back and looks spectacular. And yeah, but well, he was a sparring partner with Otto Wale. Yeah, but, you know, Otto Wale is not Deontay Wilder. Okay, but Wilder got his ass kicked, so what are you saying? Okay, wait. Let me go through more excuses and I'll get back to you. Okay. Now, in saying all of that, controversy, drama, the politically correct things to say, all this nonsense, this is why people don't believe Tyson Fury. I know people, I forget the condition they call it. Okay, in fact, I'm going to, just because I said that, I wish I had my tablet, I'd look it up right now. But there's a sickness that people have. They go to work. People are highly educated, make good money, all of that stuff. But they have this thing where they will lie and pretend. I know a female personally that used to do things like that. Okay? They will harm themselves for attention. They will lie to make people believe it. I know a dude, listen to me. Listen to me. I know a guy. Okay? I saw this guy took a big ass rock and was hitting himself in the face and in the head. I saw it. Listen to me. I saw him do this. I'm looking out my window thinking, what the fuck is he doing? I'm watching him do this. I watched him run around the corner and pretend he got jumped. I saw this same guy do this a second time. I saw a different guy do this another time, and this same guy did this same type of thing twice. Okay? I saw a guy roll around in the dirt, rip his shirt up, and pretend he got jumped. Okay? Now, let's compare the two. One guy just ripped his shirt, rolled in dirt. Yo, niggas just jumped me. And I'm like, wow. Wow. And I used to write songs, and I remember sitting up, slinging out the window. That was a lot of my writing coming from me just observing what's going on my street. And I just remember penning things like, okay? But the other guy, no, he goes way beyond it. He took a big fucking rock and hit himself. Now, if you see the fucking damage he did right here, okay, right here, with a fucking big, just say a brick, okay? Big ass rock like that. He was doing this shit to make people think he got jumped. Is that normal to you? Okay. Fury's been in the WWE. I'm not saying the man cut himself. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm saying it's just something about Fury that we're tired of reporting nothing but drama. We want to report boxing news. What did you do in the ring from bell to bell? Okay, we want to give boxing news leading up to a fight. But with Fury, it's one of these things of, okay, once again, we have drama. Okay, when you cry wolf too many times, it gets to a point people start to get sick of you. And people are getting sick of Fury. Now you're starting to see people going, okay, wait a minute, man. Okay, example. As a professional, it doesn't mean you're perfect. But just like we say with your drug tests, you need to be mindful of what you put in your body, on your body, especially as it gets closer to fight time. All right? And for the people that was making excuses, like we could talk about Alicia Baumgartner, for example, right? What did her own trainer and Tony Harrison say? He said, you can't fault nobody but her. Whatever was in her system, she put in it, you know. But I don't think, me knowing her the way I do, I can't imagine her taking something to cheat. Like, but, you know, it's still her fault, whatever she took. Her own trainer said that. But to all of the, oh, she's so beautiful. Her body, she's sexy, she's this, she's that. Damn, she's curvy. She got muscles, but she's still feminine. And oh, so that's why she's innocent, because you like what you see, because she's eye candy to you. You like what you see. Alicia, Hannah Gables, people like that, they can't be guilty because you're attracted to them. Okay. That's simple-minded fucking people right there. But, bottom line is, okay, you making excuses for people doesn't cut it. And like I say, I'm not there to know what they do or don't do, but when it gets to a point, like, you know, how many times has Dillian White failed the test? For Alicia, this is the first time we've heard. How many times have Jarrell Miller failed? You got to look at certain fighters and, okay, when you fail multiple times, it gets to a point where, look, man, you got to step it up. Same way, if I'm sparring, I have the headgear. I hated wearing headgear guards at all. It wasn't ego. It just felt weird having to wear shit on my head while I'm fighting. And I just had to ignore it and forget that it was on. Okay, the full tier head guards, that's what we call them. It's because they, everything. I don't understand how the fuck you got cut where you did if you had a head guard on. Now, it's right here, but those head guards come here. Okay, how my hat is, and that's why they're uncomfortable, because they literally come right here. I don't know which type of head guard this motherfucker had on, okay? But you wear the top of the line shit when you are a fighter of that status, okay? And the rest of that shit comes up to like here. That's why you wear those type of things. And from what I'm hearing, it wasn't a punch, it was an elbow. Okay, what the fuck kind of sparring were you doing? You sparring a fucking jiu-jitsu guy or some shit? Like, but bottom line, looking at where the cut was. Okay? Now, if you look at the fact that Tyson Fury has a history of making up lies. Okay? Lies. He's the type of person, unless you're there to believe it, see it, you don't believe it. That's the position Fury's put himself in with most of us, because the guy is a habitual liar. Yes, a liar. Do you remember the video? Alexander Usyk, you little shithouse. You little ugly, bug-eyed, gap-teeth, ugly little man. You little fucking shithouse. Just remember, you can never stand up to the Gypsy King. Ever. You little shithouse. You find another way to weasel out of this fight. But you know you could never stand up to me, blah, 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 blah. You little shithouse. Remember all of that? Remember how he came out of his face after the Ngannou fight? Look at how fat, sloppy, and out of shape he was against Ngannou. Then they're going to tell you that this fight's going to happen in December or whatever, right? Whatever it was supposed to be, right? And they're like, that motherfucker just had a fight and he went, the full distance. But that motherfucker, nah. Now you have to do a training camp for a completely different type of fighter, completely different style, a more advanced fighter. Okay, a far more advanced fighter. And so, not just the being in shape part, but you mean to tell me you're only going to take 5 weeks to fight Usyk to train? And after what you look like against Ngannou? And I remember there was a few people, Sean Porter was one of them, that was saying he don't believe the fight was going to happen. I'm saying, okay, well, the fight, they had the press conference and everything, and the fight's supposed to happen, but this is boxing, you never know, and Fury's involved. So now, all of a sudden, once again, the fight's pushed back. And let me say, it was after the Ngannou fight. I have to remind people, because see, people forget, and then you have so many people making videos, and they're saying things where you got some in his defense, and you got some that's just like, man, once again, Fury's involved, it's an issue. That's bottom line what it comes down to with this guy, where people just get tired of him. They just want him to go away. Fury was the one who said, Alexander Usyk has to fight me. He signed the contract. There's no way out of it. But the fight got pushed back. So this is not the first time a fight with Usyk has got pushed back. We know after the AJ fight, Usyk said he needed some time to heal from injuries he sustained against Anthony Joshua. Fury tried to give you got 24 hours. Take it or leave it. That same bullshit that Team Wilder pulled with AJ with the $50 million, take it or leave it, no negotiations, blah, blah, blah. You only do that kind of shit when you feel a real serious threat. You want somebody, you make a person an offer that you know they're going to say, man, fuck you and fuck that offer. Yo, they don't want the fight. We offered them. No. AJ and Hearn didn't say fuck you, fuck that fight. They said, okay, $50 million, you got our attention. So let's negotiate. No negotiations. Just take the $50 million, take it or leave it. 7-8 Sports, you take it. Somebody offer you $50 million, you take it. No, you would take it. A broke fighter would take it. A fighter who's never made $1 million would take it. AJ's not in a position where, if I don't take this money, I'm broke. No, he was doing very well financially. He's already making $30+ million a fight. Okay? But bottom line is, that was a bullshit bluff to try to make it seem like they wanted to fight. Okay. I clearly remember Anthony Joshua being asked about fighting Wilder. He said, I will fight Wilder for no belt. I'll fight him for the belt. I'll fight him if he loses. I'll fight him if I lose. I want to fight Wilder. I remember Deontay Wilder being interviewed and said, out of his own mouth, not no word of mouth from somebody else, out of his own mouth, it ain't gonna happen. Ain't nobody, don't even ask if or when. It's not gonna happen, so don't wait for it. And he's made several different comments about, not first, it's not a matter of if but when. You gotta have patience. Remember that video? And he went from that to saying it's not gonna happen, so don't wait for it. But of course, the Wildettes won't ever remember that. They don't remember nothing he does. Same shit. So, once you have a guy like this who has a reputation of saying one thing and doing something else, it turns into a thing of, like I said, I have to see it to believe it. But for us to come to the conclusion, I'm not even sure that this fight's going to happen. Yeah, they made the announcement and all that. We can go back to everything. Like I told you, Tyson Fury does not like the fact that he can't bully Usyk. It fucks with his ego and it fucks with his confidence. Why is this little ugly, gap-toothed, bug-eyed little foreigner, why is he not afraid of me? Why can't I intimidate this guy? Why do I have all this aggression towards him? But I was laughing and talking and slapping my belly with Ngannou. All I ever did with everybody else is try to, do my WWE shit. But no, never have I ever had an opponent that I had showed this kind of hatred and anger. Which is why an interviewer will ask, where'd the tension come from? Oh, there's no tension. He's a likable guy. I'm just, trying to sell the fight. Yeah, but damn, the way you go about it, you calling the guy a foreigner, you calling him a little ugly bug-eyed man. You make it sound like, okay, first of all, you're not fighting in the UK, so you are a foreigner to Saudi Arabia. Usyk is a foreigner to Saudi Arabia. If you went to the Ukraine, you'd be the foreigner in that country. So, everything he says, calling him an ugly bug-eyed, gap teeth, dirty teeth, little ugly little man, all these little things he's saying. And he's saying he's doing this to sell a fight. But if you look at it, regardless, the way he goes about it, it's like, I need to take it to another level in order to beat Usyk. I'm not confident that I can just go in there on my, just skill for skill or whatever, or just go in there and do my fight and win. I have to get in his head. I have to be able to intimidate him. All the way from them on stage and all this, head banging and pushing. What I tell y'all from right there, the dude is actually nervous. He's not confident. So him calling him a middleweight, calling him small, is to try to undermine him like, I'm not worried about this little guy. Yeah, he really is, though. Yeah, he definitely really is. So that being said, we have situations, if you go through the history of boxing, like who was it with Jack Johnson? I forget what one of the guys that had the belt at the time. I spoke about this already. It's a lot of information. This guy actually had a stipulation where Jack Johnson had to pay this motherfucker's rent for the rest of his life. Jack Johnson said, done. Signed that shit. What kind of stipulation is that? You've had people sign contracts and say, okay, let's just say it's $10 million. We're going to pay you $10 million, but we're going to pay it over the next 35 years or the next 50 years. And they take this offer. So you're not getting $10 million up at once. All these weird, stupid offers. So when somebody tell you have 24 hours, take it or leave it, no negotiation, there's no telling what type of stipulations they're going to put in their contract. And after you sign it, and it's a bullshit deal, they're going to say, well, hey, this is business. You signed the contract. And you know what's going to happen? Their fanboys are going to LOL, ha ha ha, hey, well, you shouldn't have signed the contract. And that's all going to happen. So nobody does business like that. That's crackhead shit, okay? So we are not quick to believe anything that comes out of Tyson Fury's mouth. We watch the Fury sit there and watch AJ talk about he looks sharp, the guy looks good. Then we watch them turn around and talk shit about how Ngannou's going to beat him, or he's just anything to just try to get in his head. Because fighters don't want to see certain fighters win because they don't really want that fight. I'm not stupid. I can watch a fighter and know if this guy's a threat. I can watch a basketball player. I know this guy's a threat. I can watch you feel it. Especially when you compete in it yourself, you know, yeah, that'd be a good fight. Yeah, that guy, yeah. You don't think these guys don't know. They know. They get all egotistical in front of the camera, but they know. So, yeah, I mean, they'll do those type of things. So, the possibility of him just working his bullshit and the fight's postponed, all this, they're devastated, and he's in such great shape, and he's this, he's that, and he was ready to go. You know how much money's on the table? Nobody said the fight's off, dumbasses. The fight's postponed. Where's Usyk gonna go? Where's he gonna go? Usyk isn't gonna go fight somebody else. He's gonna wait. It's as simple as that. But at the same fucking time, right? You do have a deadline. And remember, Usyk has a mandatory in Philip Urkovic. Now, will it just be a coincidence that by the time Fury heals and everything goes, you know, he's ready to get in? What if it just happens to be past that date? I'm just saying, it shouldn't. It's just it shouldn't. But people will do desperate things. Now, the same way a lot of you feel like, man, people will take steroids or whatever to get an advantage. I don't put it past any of them. Okay, then. Okay. I don't put it past a person to fake an injury either. I don't put it past a person. Yeah, I do believe somebody will cut themselves. I've seen people do that kind of shit. Okay? I've seen people do that kind of shit. I've seen a female bruise her body and lie and say that her fucking husband did it. I've seen people do this kind of shit. So, don't think just because Fury's a fight, oh, but look at a cut like that. It's just a fucking cut, bro. Do you understand what fighters do? If a fighter's in the corner and his eye was cut, I don't know if they still do this shit now. Okay, but yeah, most of you might relate to the Rocky movie. No, this shit happens in real fights. Do your homework with Graziano, all right? Marcia, different fighters. Do your homework with these guys. They've been in a fight with an eye swell and they cut the eyelid so the shit bleed, wipe it, press it, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay? That shit happens in real life. So, I'm just saying, it's Fury, somehow the worst happens. And yeah, they will do that for an advantage. As I said, yo, let this guy overtrain. Let this guy get hyped up. He's in the best shape of his life. Okay, well, guess what, too? Usyk's 37, right? I'm 2 years younger than him. It's only going to get worse for him, not me. You understand what I mean? He's older than me. And y'all think, oh, man, nobody's going to do that. Okay, well, like I said, I don't know for sure. But it's just something about Fury. I don't put anything past him. Well, he's a liar, that's why. But bottom line, here we are. So, yeah, to try to get the advantages, try to psychologically, that's called psychological warfare. There's people that are willing to go above and beyond the norm to get an advantage because they don't want to lose. Fury said he can walk away right now and retire. He wouldn't be hurt for money. He got plenty of money and all. Okay. So don't tell me nothing about how much money's on the fucking table. I don't care. Okay? It's not like he can't pop up in the WWE again. It's not like his career's over. You understand what I mean? So, whatever he's making against Usyk, you know, he could pop back up some kind. You know, look, bottom line is this. He put himself in this position for people to see him for what he is. Why would you not want to know the truth about the person? But he's in that position, and that's just who Fury is. And the fight's postponed once again, not because of Usyk, but because of him. And let's be clear, when Usyk and him, you know, after the fight with AJ, he immediately all of a sudden now, remember, before that, he said he had no interest on Talk Sports. He had no interest in fighting Usyk. None whatsoever. To tell you the truth, it never crossed my mind. Then he went from that to now he wants to fight Usyk. But he wants to try to rush. Why? Usyk just fought. So the whole, well, that means Usyk's in shape already. So he should be ready to go, but have you completely overlooked the fact that, okay, the dude took some damage by AJ and he needs to heal, right? So what ends up happening, right? he wants to try to rush him into the ring. There was no contract signed. This was just, Tyson Fury pulling his bravado. Oh, they're all ducking me. They don't want to fight. I offered him to fight. He didn't take the fight. So basically, you tell a person to just, okay, it's one of those when I just say jump, you say how, you ask how high. That's what he was trying to do, but he was bluffing as far as I'm concerned. Now, with all that being said, there was nothing signed. This was a fight that they both, Fury claimed he wanted it. Usyk went and did what Fury wouldn't do, which is fight Anthony Joshua, and he beat him both times. Okay. Look at what Fury's saying right now. There's no reason for him to fight Anthony Joshua. Usyk beat him twice already. You see, he's done all this talking and already planning to avoid Anthony Joshua, as he always was. AJ's mentality is, no, I'll fight Fury, Wilder, whoever. It doesn't matter if they lose or if they win. If I lose, I'll still fight them. You see, but you guys want to boo a guy who's out here doing his best to make everything happen. But you want to cheer a fucking fraud. Got to put that out there. So he already let everybody know he doesn't want to fight AJ. He never wanted to fight AJ. Never. So all that, a British heavyweight showdown or whatever, however, and basically, this is a fight where we know they're going to make far more money if they fight in Saudi. So don't tell me nothing about how much money's on the line for him to pretend that he's hurt. You know how much fucking more money he'll make if he beats Usyk and then he goes on and a fight between him and AJ? Do you know how much money that both of them would make? Way more than what they're going to pay him for fighting Usyk, for damn sure. Because now it's a bigger fight. I beat the guy that beat AJ twice. And because there's a rematch clause, I did it twice on top of that. Or say Usyk wins the first time and then say Fury won the second time. Bottom line is, now, guess what? There's no trilogy in the contract. But bottom line is, now you're free to fight AJ. Okay? Now you're free. But he still go, AJ lost both times. I'll at least beat Usyk once. He doesn't want to fight AJ. You understand what I mean? So he could care less about if the fight was on British soil, for undisputed. He can care less if it's in Saudi. And he can care less about the amount of money that he won't make fighting against AJ. Because he's already made his mind up that after Usyk, he has no reason to fight AJ. So again, if Usyk wins, more than likely, we'll get that third fight between him and Anthony Joshua. Simple. So anyway, that's that. And we know the fight's postponed. Now, the second person I want to talk about real quick is Keith Thurman. Because Keith Thurman has been inactive. And every time he's inactive, he comes back. The first thing comes out of Keith Thurman's mouth is ring rust. I had ring rust, I haven't been in there. But before the fight, he talks about how in greatest shape he's in. You still haven't seen the best version of Keith Thurman. He's improving. He's getting better. He's slicker. He's faster. He's stronger. He's at his all-time best. You're going to see a Keith Thurman you've never seen before. He says the same things before every fight. When he lost to Manny Pacquiao, people made excuses and said Keith Thurman is married, man, and, he's living that married life, and, he's out there, not focusing on boxing, but just enjoying life. And, okay. It's the man that said, I will not let a 40-year-old rabbit beat me. Right? I'm bigger, stronger. All these things he said. Right? He's the best boxer out there. He's better than Pacquiao. Blah, blah, blah. Floyd ducked me. At least Manny Pacquiao, he's doing what Floyd won't do. And I'm gonna beat him, I'm saying? I'm gonna go in there, you're gonna see a different Keith Thurman in the fifth, and I'm gonna fifth. Yeah. He said all that shit, right? Got his ass whooped. Nobody said he waited for Pacquiao to get old. That wasn't the case anyway, but, you know, people make that excuse for other people, even though the fight happens when it happens, right? This wasn't a situation of nobody ducking anybody, but he guaranteed you, he assured us he would not lose to a 40-year-old rabbit. Okay. Got his ass whooped. He takes this hiatus. He comes back against Mario Barrios. Now, the reality is, if Keith Thurman was as good as he says, if Keith Thurman was as good as his fans say, and he would have destroyed Mario Barrios. He wouldn't have just outboxed him, and he won the fight, but he would have, like, destroyed him. Okay? Mario Barrios put up a good fight. Not to mention Mario Barrios was coming up in weight. Okay, so his first fight back was against a guy coming from 140 to 147. Just saying. A guy that got stopped by a 135-pounder. Okay? Well, it's funny to me how when he fought Pacquiao, he was no longer focused on boxing. Keith Thurman wasn't the same Keith Thurman anymore. He's rich now. He got money. He's focused on his wife and life. Now, all of a sudden, he gets in the ring with Tim Tszyu. He skipped the line. And basically now, you guys are saying he's rejuvenated. You're going to see a different Keith Thurman based on what? That's my question. Based on what? Same thing, right? You're only as good as your last fight. Well, did he look great against Mario Barrios? No, he did not. And all I'm seeing is how Keith Thurman is a way better technician than Tim Tszyu. Oh, he hits just as hard as Tim Tszyu. Oh, he's going to do this and that. Yo, he's a superior boxer. He's an A-level fighter, blah, blah, blah. So we forget about what happened with Pacquiao. We forget about the Mario Barrios fight. And then we give him superpowers and say he's better than what he is. Which is why people are saying the same thing that Tim Tszyu said. Just don't make any excuses at the end of the fight. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think. And what's going to happen is going to happen. Like I told you, I'm never afraid to be wrong about what I think. I think Keith Thurman, needed a big check. I think that Keith Thurman going to 154 and jumping in here against Tim Tszyu without a warm-up like he normally does is because he needed a big check, and pretty much he's calling him a slow, flat-footed Mexican and all this goofy shit, but I think that for him to speak the way he's speaking, he's underestimating Tim Tszyu. And people talk about, yeah, man, y'all keep bringing up the fact he got hit with body shots. He don't like body shots. But it's not like he's been knocked out by body shots. You know what I'm saying? And he still won. Okay, you the same motherfucker that say Alexander Usyk don't like body shots. So what the fuck makes it special for Keith Thurman? And he's got hit and hurt to the body by guys that don't hit nearly as hard as Tim Tszyu does. So we're going to find out. We're going to see. I'm saying the same thing. If he lose, don't make any excuses. And in all honesty, I see no reason that Tim Tszyu shouldn't go in there and fuck Keith Thurman up. I see no reason why Tim Tszyu, he has everything he needs to beat Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman talks a good one. Keith Thurman is saying all this shit about his superior boxing skills. And I ask you guys this question, pound for pound, if they fought, who do you think wins, Mario Barrios or Tim Tszyu? And if you say Tim Tszyu, then you need to shut the fuck up because you're not making any sense. Yeah, styles make fights. Y'all say this fucking little cliche fucking sing-along, romper room tune every time, every other video. But you look at what Keith Thurman has done and how he's looked, how the fuck are we saying he's better than what he actually looked like in his last two fucking fights? Okay, and at 35 years old, for him to not be in the ring for a long period of time like he's been, well, first fucking comment that's going to come out of his mouth or his fans' mouth as an excuse after the ass whooping is it was ring rust. I had injuries and stuff and that kept me out. If I'd have been more active and this and that. Wait a minute, back up. Whatever happened to, but Deontay shouldn't have fought. They shouldn't have matched him up against Joseph Parker because Parker's been active and Wilder wasn't. So that was unfair. Okay, let's keep all this in mind. Keith Thurman hasn't fought in a long ass time, well over 700 days, right? And this motherfucker's jumping in there with Tim Tszyu. I applaud you. But you see how skipping the line, you might get the payday, but maybe not the result that you wanted. And reality is, from what I've seen of Tim Tszyu and what I've seen of Keith Thurman, Tim Tszyu should beat the fuck out of Keith Thurman and stop him. Now, we'll see what's going to happen. But again, I don't see any reason why. And it's not because he's going to 154. It's not because of any little cliche or just a theory about, oh boy, a smaller guy going up. No. It's because of who Tim Tszyu is and because of who Keith Thurman is as fighters. I feel like Tim Tszyu should fuck Thurman all the way up. And we'll just see what happens. But again, you see how politics play a part in boxing. Jaron Ennis was calling out Keith Thurman. He act like he don't know who Keith Thurman is, but he know who Tim Tszyu is. Right. Okay. He's referencing him as a slow, flat-footed Mexican. Why you didn't take the same fight against Jaron Ennis, though? Why didn't the fight between you and Terrence Crawford materialize? Why? See, people overlook these things and they act as if they don't understand what's going on. A lot of people don't understand what's going on, but they have the most to say. But if you look at it, you do that and act like Jaron Ennis hasn't done enough. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, you go to 154, no tune-up, fine, no problem. But you jump straight in there. What you don't realize, Keith Thurman, is you are a fucking rib cage about to get fed to a lion. That's exactly what this is. People are looking at Keith Thurman's resume, talking about he beat Sean Porter, and I know he beat him and Garcia, beat some good welterweights. Yeah, Keith Thurman was a good boxer. But what people don't understand is Tim Tszyu's on the rise. He's that guy that people want to see win now. And what can we do? Who can we feed him? Oh shit, Keith Thurman took the fight. Let's throw him in there. And that's what the fuck he's being done. He's being brought to a slaughter. Okay? Now, we see Joseph Parker be, him in there with Deontay, which most people felt like Joseph Parker was done. And we saw how that fight backfired. So can that shit happen? Yeah. But to me, Tim Tszyu has to have an off night and just not be right because he has everything. Just like Anthony Joshua had everything. But he got there with Usyk and fought the wrong fight. I think Tim Tszyu is going to punish Keith Thurman. I really don't see anything that Keith Thurman has that Tim Tszyu shouldn't be able to handle. Keith Thurman is a good fighter, but Keith Thurman is a better talker than he is a fighter. So if you're basing him winning off of the shit coming out of his mouth, then okay, I can understand you guys are casuals and you don't know shit about boxing anyway. Not just because you're saying Keith Thurman's going to win, but based on your own logic, you're only as good as your last fight. Okay? And if we go by his last two fights, well, we see how things looked with him, right? So based on that alone, what improvements can you say you saw in Keith Thurman? No. And the fact that even him bringing up in an interview saying that he wanted to fight a lot more than he did, and injuries and stuff like that happened, and so yeah, man, he wasn't in the ring as much as he wanted to. What do you mean? So are you saying that when Jaron Ennis was calling you out, you didn't fight him because you was injured? Are you saying when you were supposed to fight Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford, that you didn't fight him because you was injured? Is that what you're saying? Okay, because at the end of the fucking day, for a guy to be injured but want to fight, you have a lot to say about everybody else. He talks shit about Devin Haney. You're not even in Devin Haney's fucking weight class. But if Devin Haney came to 147, right? See, my point is, when you talk shit about people, have you heard him talk about Tim Tszyu before the fight? Have you heard him say no? So, boom. Now he's in there, right? He talks about Devin Haney's style. Devin Haney doesn't go after people. Devin Haney, like, that old jab and moving, okay. So bottom line is, if you fought Devin Haney and Devin Haney went in and outclassed you and made you look stupid, you complain about the way he beat you. And this is what I'm saying. Guys who you once had a great respect for get to a point where you just like, nah, I can't deal with these excuses and this arrogance and, this unrealistic type of conversation that this person, has. Everything. You was vocal and sending a warning shot to Claressa Shields, but you completely ignored Jaron Ennis. So yeah, I lost respect for Keith Thurman for those reasons. We know what he did in the past, okay? You didn't do anything outstanding. Good fighter. Great? No. Good. Okay? But at the same time, he has so much to say. So much to say about fighters that he's not fighting. And the fact that all of a sudden now, he knows Devin Haney's the guy people love to hate, so let me jump on that bandwagon, right? Like Alicia Baumgartner stabbing Shields in the back. She's the one female everybody, the majority of people love to hate on. So let's you know what? I'm going to mention Katie Taylor's name, Chantel Cameron's name. I'm going to mention Amanda Serrano's name, but I'm going to dwell on Claressa Shields' name. I'm not friends with none of them, but she was supposed to be friends with Shields at some point, right? So Shields thought, don't matter, I'll turn on anybody. I have an agenda. We know what that agenda is. So now here Keith Thurman, same thing. Haney's a hot topic, bro. Haney is doing what all these other fighters don't do and won't do. He's not turning fights down, and he's not running around here calling names and then don't fight them. That's what these other guys are doing. So Keith Thurman is trying to get so much attention to himself by running his mouth. Why? If I'm talking about Devin Haney, that's a whole different demographic of people watching these videos that normally might not watch me because I'm talking about Haney. I'm talking about this guy, I'm talking about that person. So yeah, I get attention to myself that way. So going into this fight, I'm going to come up with a stupid ass fucking ignorant fucking press conference tactic, and I'm going to employ that shit, and yeah, hopefully that get more people watching me for whatever reason. So he skips the line, he gets a title shot, didn't earn shit. What did he earn? What did he earn? He fought Mario Barrios 700 and something days ago. So what did he earn? So again, if we're going by reputation, if we're going off of past accomplishments, yes, let's feed Tim Tszyu a fighter that has credibility, and he has to go in there and win, yes. Okay? There's no guarantee because you throw somebody in there and you see disadvantages because people can turn shit around. We saw Nito Donaire do the same thing at 38 years old. But, what I'm saying is about Keith Thurman is the excuses that comes out of his mouth about ring rust all the time, the things he always try to critique in other fighters, and how he give himself such a huge pat on the back, and he talks like he's this unbeatable guy. I believe, me watching Tim Tszyu fight and me watching Keith Thurman fight, that Keith is going to get the shit beat out of him. And pretty much when he does, ring rust will be the excuse. I never fought at 154 before. You know what I'm saying? I did. It'd be great. I came up because I want to fight the best challengers. I'm not afraid to let my old go. He's going to talk all that shit. Now, should he win the fucking fight, we'll have to see what happens next. But I really don't see a reason why Tim Tszyu shouldn't go in there and beat the fuck out of him. In all honesty, I just don't. And I never saw Keith Thurman the way other people see Keith Thurman. They always overlook flaws in the fighters that they like. They always give them more ability than what they actually show. So that's my take on Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. And the fact that, like I said, the fact that the guys can skip the line and all this type of shit. You don't know the availability of other fighters, like who's ready to go and who's not. But for Keith Thurman, and especially the fact he never fought at 154, was that any different that Rolly Romero was able to come from 135 to 140 and without fighting anybody, he comes into a title shot? See, this is what I mean about favoritism, politics in boxing, the bullshit. So if you don't like Rolly Romero, that was a problem. But you like Keith Thurman, it's not a problem. Just saying, you know. So, yeah, and when fighters are in certain positions like that, I feel like they should get the fuck beat out of them. You know, to send a message to other fighters who's thinking about doing the same thing. For these other promoters that's thinking of doing the same shit. Like, hey, you're bringing a guy into this that hasn't earned anything. You're just giving him shit. You know, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he was brought into this fight, you know, to basically be fed to Tim Tszyu. So Tim Tszyu can destroy this guy, move on with his career, and it's just up from there. Now, the same people that's giving Keith Thurman all these praise, Tim Tszyu go in there and beat the living natural shit out of him. Yeah, man, but you got to remember, Keith ain't fought in a long time, and he never fought at 154. Full circle with the excuses. Same excuses Thurman will make, his fans are going to make it. So don't tell me nothing about, no, you only as good as your last fight. Okay? But then, when it comes to certain fighters, you forget that. Let's not forget Tim Tszyu's last fight. His performance versus Keith Thurman's last performance. Keith Thurman might know what to do. He can say the right things. He might be able to analyze and critique guys' styles and all that. Yeah, okay, and sound impressive to you guys. But now, let me go in there and show you how you handle Tim Tszyu. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Mr. Don't Tuck Me Fun. Better not tuck me fun. We want to see what the fuck you can do. I'm just basically waiting to see what's next for Tim Tszyu because, truthfully, I see no reason, like I said, that he don't go in there and stomp a mud hole in Keith Thurman like he's supposed to and move on. And pretty much, you know, when a guy gets knocked out for the first time, they always look ridiculous. And that's probably what we get ready to see. Because Keith Thurman is not what everybody think he is. And the fact is he couldn't handle Manny Pacquiao at 147, who's a guy that came all the way up from 126. Is it 122, 126? Yeah. So he gonna have his work cut out with Tim Tszyu. So after this massacre, we see what happens next. Now, I said 3 people, but I want to mention 2 more people. Okay, one of them, the next person I'm going to talk about, is Canelo. Canelo Alvarez. We already know the situation with him. We already know we have many people, trainers included, boxers included. Oh, you know, Canelo's at the point he can fight whoever he wants. Is that how that works? Is that actually how that works? You never hear nobody in the UFC say a guy's been there fighting everybody. Okay, we don't hear nobody talking about John Jones is at a point he can fight anybody who he wants. Huh? You watch One Championships, you don't hear nobody saying Stamp Fairtex is at a point she can fight anyone she wants because she has some significant wins in her career. John Jones has beaten some very significant guys and is considered pretty much by most the pound for pound best fighter in the UFC. You know, so when you start saying shit like that and you see the guys doing that, well, for the sheep, it's nothing wrong with them. They just roll with whatever decision you make. But for the boxing fans, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Why are you fighting this guy instead of this guy? You know, a perfect example, like when I say people forget, when you hear me say, if he's not going to fight Benavidez because he's Mexican, then why the fuck are we sitting here watering at the mouth about him fighting Jaime Munguia? Because what is Munguia? So, my thing with Canelo is, see, like, you know, D. Hamaguchi praised Canelo. Different people praise Canelo. Okay, let's just say something that most people won't say. Do you know that he's had several title reigns because of franchise championship? He was given an opportunity that other fighters wasn't given. He was chosen. And he, like here's the thing. Mauricio Suleiman says he requested to be champion. And he also says Lomachenko requested to be champion. But at the same time, they say they choose someone that has dedicated their life and everything. So what I believe is this. the paperwork or the conversation both probably said something to the effect of, we honor and respect your contributions to boxing, and the WBC is proud to make an offer to you. You are a fighter that we select as being our franchise champion, our representative, and we would be honored to have you as our franchise championship. But to do so, you must answer this request with your own request to accept that you want to be franchise championship, and, you know, put it in writing, submit it, and then this will go effective immediately or some shit to that effect. I'm just saying, I doubt very serious that Lomachenko or Canelo just said, listen, we heard you have something called the franchise championship, and it's basically a favoritism title and gives us a way to duck our mandatories. Yeah, I like to sign up for that. Is this true that you have that available? No, I believe Mauricio Suleiman selected Lomachenko. He selected Canelo, but everything is business, and these things are in writing. So we're selecting you. But for us to select you, we select you. Before to become official, you have to request. So the word request means, yeah, I did request it. It was offered and I accepted. So we can say requested, but bottom line, you can replace the word request with the word accept. Why? It was offered to them, but they took it with the understanding of what it was. So yes, they took it because they understand it's a favoritism championship. So yes, they took it. So bottom line, other fighters who's not given that same opportunity, okay, they don't have that privilege to go up and down and wait and pick and choose to fight whatever champion they want. Now, you have to win the fight, yes, but the point is you're given the opportunity that other fighters are not getting, which means you could have given that to another fighter and they could have used it and did the same thing. So whereas without you having the franchise championship, well, there's titles you wouldn't have won without it. There's weight classes you wouldn't have been in without it. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about accomplishments, yes, you still have to win. But the point is you're being given something that other fighters are not being given. Now, that's not fair. So if you go by your era, your generation, and say, well, it wasn't fair because these girls wasn't given the same opportunities back then. You know, Christy Martin, she wasn't given that opportunity. You know, Ann Wolf and the fighters that you like, because you know all those females back then, they hated Layla Ali the same way they hate Clarissa Shields now. And many people from that generation hate Shields even more. Why? It's simple. Because she's accomplished far more than them, and not one of them was called the greatest of anything. Okay? Before her, there was only Layla. Okay? Because the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin, got her ass whooped by Layla. Now, she called Layla out. Let's say it like it is. Layla wasn't calling out no damn Christy Martin. Christy Martin called out Layla. She said she's the greatest of all time. Well, let's see. I think I'm better than her and blah, blah, blah. She had a lot of shit to say about Layla. You know I can get the receipts for you guys. Okay? But she had all that shit to say. She got her ass whooped. And they, of course, the excuses, she was too small, blah, blah, blah. She knew that before she got in there, that she had to go up to fight her. And bottom line, that's the way it was. You call out somebody, you go to their weight class. At least I respect Christy for doing that. The fact that she went up, okay? And then to make conversations about her contributions to boxing right now and what she's still doing. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's all great that you love all of that. But you don't give points or take points away based on what happens in the fucking ring. So my whole thing with that was, okay, Christy Martin did all of that. And you're talking about her contributions. So are you saying because of her contributions to boxing and whatever she does as a motivational speaker and whatever she does to help female fighters or whatever, are you saying that she'd get in the ring and beat Clarissa Shields? Because I really think that you know better than that. Clarissa Shields will beat the living fuck out of Christy Martin same way Layla Ali did. She will beat the shit out of her. It wouldn't even be fucking competitive. So my point is, even in that situation where somebody's saying, oh, she's the real GOAT, Lucille Rock is the real GOAT, or Holly Holmes is the real GOAT, people that couldn't lace Layla Ali's boots and wouldn't be able to lace Clarissa Shields' boots, but because you personally like them better and like what they're doing and the fact that they was in the beginning of the women's division. Okay, what did that have to do with the outcome of a fight between them? That's where I say, cut the shit and get right to the point. Are you saying that this fighter would beat that fighter? Do you understand what I mean? And if you got to pause and think about it, shut the fuck up. Why? You should already have all this thought out before you open your mouth to make a video. Why? Because what you're saying is this person beats this person based on what? What criteria are we going by to make these judgments? So just to say what somebody contributed, and then you got to look at when nobody's talking about your fucking opponents. That means, okay, like when you say Christy Martin beat 40-something people, and okay, okay, so she had 40-something fights. She went, all right, it took her all of that time and all those fights, and she still got her ass whipped by Layla Ali. What was Layla Ali's record, 15-0 or something like that? Okay, so that just basically means all the time it took her, all the experience that she had and everything, it wasn't enough to stand up to Layla. You understand my point, y'all? People like to talk about who they like more and give them advantages simply because of, right? But now, to say, yeah, but there was no such thing back in the day as women's undisputed. They didn't have all these different weight classes. Okay, boxing, period, didn't have all these weight classes way back in the day either, for the men either. So the point is, like, it's really a point of being biased. Because you're trying to say, so in other words, like if Christy Martin right now was competing in this era, man, boxing has evolved. Christy Martin's style would have been outdated. And if you watch Christy Martin, she's very basic, very simple, and she was good for her time. Just like you can go way back in the day and boxers was fighting like this and all. Okay, you look at Jack Johnson. I remember him fighting, I forget the guy's name. A fucking guy was 155 pounds that wore platform shoes to make him tall. He was 5'5", fighting at heavyweight. Sam Langford was fighting at heavyweight. He was 5'6", 160 pounds. That's a fucking middleweight. So when you hear these stories about how great these fighters was, well, because it was before our times, we picture them having superhuman power. No. Stop it. Those guys would not make it in boxing right now as a fucking heavyweight. And Jack Johnson got dropped by this 155-pound guy. He wound up getting up winning. He literally was leaping in, jumping, throwing punches from behind his back. Now, I'm not saying this to slate them. I'm saying this to be real. Those dudes would not be heavyweights in this era. They would get fucking crushed. You can't fucking sit here and tell me Muhammad Ali wouldn't beat Tyson Fury because Fury was too big. But you gonna tell me 160-pound, fucking 5'6" Sam Langford would beat these guys, or a Jack Johnson would beat these guys, but Ali wouldn't? Come on, guys. This is what I mean about how people go to certain eras of time and let's put the S on their chest. Let's make them green. They're the Incredible Hulks. They were a superhero. No, they wasn't. No. So basically, let's put Canelo right now in the ring with Anthony Joshua, and let's see how many people sit here and say after Anthony Joshua knocks his little ass out, well, you know, you could, yeah, man, AJ's just a great fighter. Yeah, man, because Canelo's amazing, and he knocked Canelo out. No, you know what you did? This motherfucker, 250 pounds, fighting little ass Canelo. Okay, people don't even think. People now saying Canelo's too small for 175, even though he beat a 175-pound fighter. Okay, and Sergey Kovalev knocked him out. Right? So you think that people would fucking give a fucking heavyweight credit for beating little Canelo? Okay. What weight class does Canelo fight at? 168. Sam Langford is 5'6". He was a fucking middleweight. Let people tell the story that love that era of fighters. They're going to tell you Sam Langford will wipe the floor with these heavyweights right now. Or the heavyweights after him. Okay. You know, I look, I don't need to do the comparisons. I do it for fun when I do it in the community section, really, of the channel. But if I really sit there and dissect fighters and fights and look at who was doing what and what particular era, it was fun. They did what they did at that time. Some fighters you can put in any era, they'll hold their own. Then there's other fighters that's outdated. They what they did, people surpassed. Christy Martin's one of them. Okay, Sam Langford and those guys, they did what they did in their time, their era. You put these motherfuckers, if they were here right now, they wouldn't. Come on, seriously? So, at the end of the day, when you look at Canelo, he's given advantages that other fighters don't have because of this franchise shit, okay? And when you have favoritism, whether it's in the form of a title or just the fact that, you know, a sanctioning body or sanctioning bodies, they value you more than other fighters because you have a more popular name, you put more asses in seats, you get, you know, whatever, then yeah, they will ride with you until it gets to the point where they want to replace you. We've milked you for all of what we can get out of you, and now what it comes down to is we want to replace you. We need a new cash cow. And that's all that is. So when it comes down to it, Canelo has gotten to a point where he's another guy like Tyson Fury. Of course, they have their minions, but a lot of people are tired of their antics and their choices in opponents. And when you have people around you constantly trying to tell you what you're doing is okay, constantly sucking up to you, then yeah, that's pretty much what happens. You focus on those individuals, but you're doing a disservice to the boxing public. If you decide you don't want to fight the best boxers out there, you're saying fuck the customers that come sit here and put money in my pocket, that allow me to keep the lights on, that allow me to have these mansions and all these fucking cars. There's people that sit here and buy my pay-per-views. You're saying fuck them. Now you want to go into, it's my decision, it's my career, it's my life, I do what I want. You motherfuckers realize without the customers, you have no fucking careers? How many times do I have to fucking revisit that same type of shit though? If nobody buys your pay-per-views, you have no money coming in. If nobody comes out to the arenas, you have no money coming in. Not to mention, you motherfuckers love to fucking salute and shout out your country, which is all good. But you got people from different countries that fly to whatever country is holding this event to be a part of that event, to see that fight live. And you shit on them. All of your fucking fans are not from your country. See, but every one of these fucking fighters that have this mentality, it's like, you guys really don't give a fuck about the fans. You just give a fuck about the fact that they keep giving you that money. And he's another one that pushed people away from him now. And as he gets older, the same thing. At some point, somebody's going to either whoop his ass or he's going to retire, whatever, even if he goes out on top, but there'll be someone new to replace you. And that new someone, they're going to try to compare to say, this person is greater, okay? It's greater than Canelo was. So now they're going to try to find a new greatest Mexican fighter of all time. They want to try to find, there's always somebody they're trying to find and replace somebody to put a title on who can carry boxing and bring it to that next level. That type of situation, okay? So yeah, he's another one, okay? And that's part of the overall point too of this video of guys who are actually pushing people away from him. Fury's one of them. Canelo's another. Keith Thurman is now starting to get flack. But you also, the same thing. His sheep is making excuses, but people are getting sick of all the talking, and all of a sudden, what did he do to earn his title shot? What did he do? Nothing. Last person I'm going to talk about and close out, Tank Davis. Because Tank Davis, I did a video on him. You see him and Calvin Ford, well, not him, but Calvin Ford sitting a part of a panel, co-signing this whole notion about Tank is the money man, he's the cash cow, he's the face of boxing. You got to take what he give you. If you don't, your numbers don't add up, how you going to bargain with what you want. You have to take what Tank gives you. Tank Davis, no different. Any fucking fighter with that mentality, as I stated earlier. When you talk about numbers and you can't get me in the ring unless the number is exactly what I want, and you cater to me, you're saying fuck your fans. You see that brownstone that you just bought to make affordable living for the people in Baltimore, or whatever neighborhood it was you grew up in? You were able to do that because of all these same people you saying fuck you to. Why? You fighters are only okay when somebody's kissing your ass and telling you what you want to hear. But when people don't like things that you're doing and they call you out on your bullshit, then all of a sudden, fuck all these niggas. Niggas is broke. Niggas, we got money. That money you're counting came out of these fucking construction workers' pockets, these bus drivers' pockets, these people that work at Lowe's, these people that work at Home Depot, these people that work at fucking Walmart, these people that are crossing guards, these same fucking people that take their fucking rent money, that take their fucking income tax money, take part of that money to go fly or go and try to be a part of your fucking fights. But you motherfuckers are so big and egotistical. You're so big on, I did this, I did that, I'm this. You are nothing without the fucking fans. And that's a fact. Each and every one of you rotten sons of a bitches. And I'm going to say what the fuck other people are scared to say. I don't give a fuck. Because I don't need your fucking interview. I don't want your interview. I don't want your autograph. I don't want to take a fucking picture with you. You're nothing but another human being. And these are facts. The same people you trying to make affordable housing for, the same fucking people who can barely afford, they don't even know how they're going to feed their family all week long. The same fucking ones who are so desperate in life but feel like they want something that they can enjoy. And they will fucking buy you a pay-per-view. They will do whatever to support fighters, and you motherfuckers are talking about, oh, it's my life. And then you got idiot fans, yeah, man, but you got to figure, man, this guy putting his health on the line. You dumb sons of bitches, this is what they chose to do. This is the sport they chose. This is the lifestyle that they chose. A fireman, okay, and a firewoman don't make close to $1 million. Fucking, they make, what, $30,000 a year? Them motherfuckers gotta fucking risk their life to save your fucking parakeet that's trapped in the fucking cage in a burning fucking house. Your little fucking cat or your goldfish. Nobody's fucking getting autographs from them. Nobody's taking pictures with them. Nobody's talking about them every day. Who gives a fuck about a fireman, right? He's just a fireman. You motherfuckers are getting paid multi-millions of dollars just to get arrogant. Sit back and say, fuck the fans, because the fans want to see you fight the best. And you're in a position where you don't have to. You're still going to make money. So imagine if all of the fans got smart and said, fuck you. Since it's fuck us, fuck you. We're not supporting shit you do. Till you motherfuckers get it together and start to fight the motherfuckers we want to see, we're not supporting nothing. You know what would happen? Boxing would completely die. Why do you think so many people walk away from boxing right now? Why? All of the politics, all of the lies, all of the broken promises. Why do you think that misfits boxing? Nobody's out fucking taking pictures and on red carpets. Why do you think why do you think the building is full from the first fight to the last fight? But with actual so-called pro boxing, it's the same bullshit every time. So for the Saudis, right? Think about it. For the Saudis to do what they're doing, it becomes a thing of, okay, now we're going to make you put your money where your mouth is. Now we're going to call your bluff. So either you're going to fight the best fights or you're going to continue to duck and dodge. But either way, right? If you're going to fight on the Saudi card, then you're going to fight nothing but the best. Why do you think that is? Huh? That fighters would actually say there's no big deal to fight on the Saudi card. I even heard someone make a comment and say what they don't like about the Saudi cards is there's no storyline. It's just the fight happens, but what's the story? Where's it leading up to? And I said, you see this shit? These people have been catered. Okay, they've been catering to this fucking WWE style of boxing. What the fuck do you mean there's no fuck a storyline? So now boxing needs a storyline. If you guys pay attention to what Aries have been saying for the longest, I told you it's going to get to this point where people actually feel like boxing needs storylines now. I wouldn't be shocked if fucking you already got people coming to the fucking ring with costumes and shit on and all kinds of goofy shit. I won't be surprised if people start coming to the fucking ring with tassels tied around their arms and face paint and spitting green mist in people's faces. I mean, really, it's gotten to that point. It's really gotten to that point. So, with that being said, you guys spit in the face of your fans, and people are so into this bullshit. Like, for me to watch a fighter lay down on his bed, recording himself talking about how we getting money over here and niggas is broke, and here we are talking about a fucking top fighter. We're not talking about some prospect coming up, 8 fights in. No, we're talking about a fighter that's in the same fucking seat as you, but because he doesn't have the same popularity. Let me tell y'all something. Tank Davis, he may be able to knock out Devin Haney. We know he got power, yeah. But Devin Haney has every much of a chance as outboxing and beating Tank Davis as Tank has of landing the shots that he needs to knock Devin Haney out. And the guy sees the threat, and it's not just a Devin Haney thing, it's just the point of fighting the best fighters. Why would someone have to buy you 2 cars just to get you to even go negotiate? Do you know how arrogant that is? And the fact that here's a guy talking about buying housing to help people, right, that can't afford to, so they can have a place that they can afford. But yet, on the other hand, you're sitting here talking about niggas is broke. Like we know that that's bullshit. I don't care about what's in somebody's pocket, okay? But point of what I'm saying is, how would you feel if people was mocking those same people that you're saying you're building these houses for? You're taking over and renovating and remodeling these places because what? So they can have somewhere to afford. No, those are the people that's broke, right? They're broke. So for you to do that, you understand? Then all of a sudden, I'm a Muslim, and you sit up here talking about niggas is broke. And as usual, you're talking about another black fighter. As usual, another black fighter. Here we are, black men, but I'm going to refer to this other black man as a broke nigga. And basically, I don't need this nigga needs me. Tank Davis went from being considered a shielded and protected fighter, right? Who every time you brought Lomachenko's name up, he acted like it was no big deal. He didn't see I mean, if it happens, but it's no big deal to him. That's how his approach always was with this fight. Then, okay, he went from that to becoming this, let's not forget, all the way, I mean, everybody he fought. And I remember when he fought Gamboa, and people, I mean, oh, man, every one of them, Ryan went through this, Devin Haney, Tank, all of them. Tiafimo, they all had performances that somebody said, man, if that motherfucker was fighting such and such, he'd have got his ass tore up. Shakur just went through that. But then, all of a sudden, Tank got to the point where, damn, Tank will knock all these dudes out. Tank is that guy. Now, Tank is, again, he's starting to lose fans as well. People are starting to get tired of Tank's bullshit. That's what all of these guys got in common. When you become a top star and you get to the point where you start fucking making excuses to not getting there with the best guys, it's only a matter of time before people decide, you know what, I'm sick of this guy. Why am I even supporting this guy's career? And that's what I tell you guys. For me, it's not about supporting any fighter's career. It's just the sport itself. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here wasting my money buying fights and these motherfuckers in here playing duck, 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 goose. I fight who the fuck I want to fight. Okay, well, tell you what. Good luck with that when you start going into empty-ass arenas. When people stop buying these pay-per-views. See, the problem is there's always going to be minions and sheep out there that have accepted their place as a peasant to these fucking so-called kings and shit. And they go in there and they make asses out of themselves. And they fight these guys, and you know what happens? They fight these guys that no one cares to see. They look good in the fight, and then you automatically start putting them in there with another top guy, and guess what? That fight doesn't happen. So, in the end, y'all, this is what it comes down to. These guys have started losing fans. They started to losing respect. Now, Tank is still in a better position than these other guys as far as like his stardom and you know, he still got a lot of millions as well. Canelo, you know, but they're losing people. And I'm seeing the videos and people are not speaking about them the way that they once were. A lot of people are like, man, this dude is a fraud. I'm sick of this guy and I'm tired of his mouth, and all they do is talk. But when it comes to showing improvement, and the thing about it, right, they start lacking and fighting lesser fighters. And the thing is, all of them know how to fight. Every one of them know how to fight. They're solid fighters. Now, Keith Thurman, you know, to me is the most overrated out of all of them. But, you know, these guys can fight, but they choose to go in there and act as if it's your job, basically, to support them and keep giving them your money. And let me say this in closing one more time. If not for the fans, not one of you have a career. If not for the fans, not one of you are living in mansions. Your kids are not, their college is not paid for. Okay, you guys don't have Bugattis and whatever the fuck, Maybachs and all that. You guys are not driving that without the fucking fans, because that's who's paying you. Okay, no, the fans are not, as they're not walking out the door, standing there giving you their money. No. Your money's coming in the form of a check from these same fucking fans that you don't know. Okay? So you motherfuckers need to be more appreciative and earn your keep and understand. You chose the hurt business. You chose a business that you know before you go into it. Fighters die in this ring. Things happen. Okay? Things happen. You chose this life. So don't fucking sit here and come up with this bullshit about, oh, these niggas trying to get me to fight this nigga's a bum, this nigga's broke, I don't want to fight this nigga, yo, this motherfucker right here ain't did shit. It's like this. The life that you and your family enjoy is because of the fans. So when you start saying fuck the fans, you lose the fans. And when that happens, well, whatever you made, it comes to a screeching halt. And you better hope that you have enough money to live off of. Because outside of boxing, y'all have nothing. And a lot of you, now Keith Thurman, I could see him getting a job as a commentator. You know, I don't know if Canelo wants to commentate over in Mexico or whatever. But yeah, I don't see, I definitely don't see Tank Davis having a job as no fucking commentator. You know, and who the fuck wants to hear Tyson Fury as a commentator? So bottom line is, outside of boxing, you motherfuckers don't have nothing else. And when you have GQ magazine and modeling, it's because it's connected to what you're doing now. When you're no longer a hot guy, you're not the hot topic, then nobody cares about what you're doing. Like I said, once you start to say fuck the fans, they're going to start to say fuck you. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. All those guys in the same position right now as far as that. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.